I'm Mason Mount. You're listening to the London is Blue podcast.
But Nick, with the formation being called right, the majority of the lineup being called right, and kind of the top line stats giving a picture of what the game was like, how did it feel? What did it look like?
I mean, it was a dominant performance, to be completely honest with you. Like, part of the reason I thought a 3-4-3 might work going into this is because clearly our back four against a counterattacking team this year has been not a good solution to that problem. So doubling up on the wings, providing a little bit more depth, and basically seeding the fact that the midfield was going to be kind of controlled by United, but pressing them so that they didn't advance the ball through the middle. It all worked. I mean, and frankly, the fact that United tried to mirror what they knew was coming and play a three was hilarious and showed me that Ole didn't have a single answer to what we were going to throw at him. United haven't played a three back as much as Chelsea have this year, and it really showed. I mean, they looked really disjointed, and I think Chelsea just did an incredible job of being disciplined in their approach and not overexerting at times. Like, the press was instituted every once in a while, but it wasn't necessarily the most consistent thing that we've ever seen. And it was a kind of an errorless performance minus Cal's penalty at the end. But yeah, I mean, I'm really happy for the guys. I mean, especially given recent results, this was an excellent performance. I think it was the best performance of the season.
Yeah, I was surprised when you put that in writing and sent that to us. Obviously, that's a bit of a big claim, but the timing of the season probably elevates it, though, too.
Is it? I mean, this is a team that we haven't beat in 3 tries this year, and we completely snuffed them. Like, their chances going into like the last 15 minutes of the match were like 1 on target. I mean, this was the team that scored a bunch of goals since the restart. They were arguably the best team on form heading into this round. So.
Yeah,
I don't think
true.
it's that big of a stretch. I think, this and Spurs are going to be what, Spurs away are going to be what people look at as kind of class performances. I think this was better personally.
Hey, that's nothing wrong with that. Well, let's formalize kind of your talking point there about Lampard's tactics. Obviously, he prevented Manchester United and OGS from running up a 4-0 head start, and the club legend is managers for those in club's rivalry. It just was not going to be their day today. And I think a lot of it, PZ is what we talked about, was the lineup. I was surprised that United went 3-4-3 in their formation. I mean, I don't think they've done it with Bruno Fernandes in the team, because usually they need Matic and someone else behind him to let him go do his thing. So, like I said, I think it was kind of a tale of, a match of two sides where Ole completely messed up his tactics, and Frank, it was just spot on. And probably credit to the players for being disciplined and executing.
Yeah. I mean, we kind of had an advantage in that, like, half the team remembers this formation from Conte's time. And it was basically Lampard did a Conte on this one, as much as I like to say, bring everything back to Conte. But this was the same lineup, the same tactics with, emphasis on wing play, overloading the box and putting balls in instead of just settling in for the usual U-shaped passing around the penalty area. So we probably had that advantage. I have no idea what United were trying. I'm sure they'll point to the fact that they had 2 days less rest than Chelsea. If you can call anything rest when you're paying, you've spent the last month playing every 3 days. I don't think it really matters that much, but he rotated basically all his big guns out and left Rashford out on an island and tried to hit him a couple of times. But I think Lampard said after the game that we were ready for that, and that was it. And he didn't. It's not a complicated strategy, and United had been struggling against Norwich, even though they still got the win. So it's
United also had 2 extra days to prepare for Palace than we did for Norwich. I mean, like. They can.
Yeah, I mean, it evens out.
I mean, yeah, they can bitch and moan all they want, but the fact of the matter is that VAR and the Premier League have been on their side more than any other team this year, and to roundly and thoroughly beat them in an FA Cup semifinal brought a ton of joy to all of us. I mean, this is a team that we love to hate. And although they haven't been the most pressing rival for us in maybe the last 5 years due to their terrible form, it's still great to beat them.
Yeah, they unfortunately didn't get the call on the Zuma tackle of Martial,
Rashford.
which
Yep.
which could have been reviewed and maybe given the other way. But whoever was running VAR, which was I think Michael Oliver was the video referee today. He he apparently dismissed it pretty quickly. So there you go. Not their day, and it was our day.
Dan, what about you as far as tactics and lineups and the way it kind of all flowed?
I just enjoyed it. It was great to see a Chelsea side just look so comfortable throughout an entirety of a match. Even in the beginning phases when we were kind of pressing in and maybe not kind of converting some of our shot opportunities, Giroud had kind of an opportunity early. Mason kind of had an opportunity. The way that you saw Reece in the beginning minutes of the game looked super composed, kind of integrating with Azpilicueta was fantastic. Getting to see a refreshed Alonso making some great forward runs and really just never looking like they were bothered. Just the composure that the team had. It looked like they just knew everything that was going to happen. And that's something I don't think we've seen very often from this team. I think Peasy kind of talked about the whole yo-yo type of results that we have, that if it's a lower table team, we play like we're looking to get promoted from the championship. And if we're playing Liverpool, for some reason, we look like the best team in all of European football or world football. And this is one of those moments where we played to the level – I actually played better than the level of competition. And I think that was the thing I enjoyed most, Brandon, was just that this is on the resume of results this season. It spurs away. I think it's the comeback, against Ajax and this match are probably the three that really stand out to me as just examples of what Frank can do.
I think to your Ajax example, it would be a lot sweeter if we didn't dig such a massive hole and then get our way back to even. But to your point, character.
You have to be able to punch back.
Yeah. Look, I thought it was interesting.
Can't come back from 2 goals down unless you go 2 goals down first, or 3 goals down, I should say.
So I was kind of interested in this when I went back and listened to the pre-match press conferences from Lampard and Solskjær, and essentially Lampard was confident, saying it's a cup. We're going to Wembley. It's a big deal. He's like, we're a big team for the occasion. Talking up his side essentially, and then obviously playing the mind games of telling VAR not to continue ruining the season for everyone else. And then Solskjær does his later and has his little stats backed up about VAR, about how, if anything, Manchester United have, been screwed over by VAR. Look at all these instances. Like it should be way better. And it's just funny listening to his sense of entitlement. But then as he talks about the preparation, he's like, oh, we haven't had the 2 days preparation. We've got this injury or that. He just sounded like a victim. And what blows me away is that Manchester United fans and club personnel alike love to boast that they're the biggest club in the Premier League. Financially, you are. On the pitch, you are not. And when you have a manager already making excuses before the match about why it's not fair and all these things, it's a small club mentality. And so I actually was starting to feel pretty good. I'm like, the players listen to that. They're going to hear about, how you're tired and how, we've got this going against us. And it seemed like to play out today, because as the game went on, United just quit. There was no fight. There was no passion. There was no real interest from them. And you look, and I know that like Lampard will get heat because he'll just sit there with his arms crossed on the dugout and won't really do anything. Dude, Solskjær, I don't know if he even said a word. He just sat there and took it himself. And so for me, I felt really good about being able to, boast in that glory and bask in their patheticness really as the game just dithered out.
Well, I think the real question is, what does Ole Gunnar Solskjær have on his iPad? Is it Disney Plus? Is it Hulu? Like, what is he watching?
Watches that 99 final on repeat.
Yeah, he probably does.
That's all he does.
I mean, Lampard did show a little bit of press nous in this one, right? Like he did them.
Yeah, you got to love the softball. I mean, okay, let's not pretend that Lampard brought VAR up, on his own. he was asked about it, and then he saw an opportunity, having learned from the master himself, to
He
put
was
a little
prepared.
extra
He
pressure.
knew
on
he
the
was going to be
referee.
asked about it,
Well,
though.
sure,
Like,
but-
it's a natural thing because that's what was in the press all week leading up to it. So
I mean, I have many issues with such questions, but once you're asked such a question, you might as well take advantage of it and
Oh, yeah.
and make
Yeah.
the right noises. But I mean,
Well, that's how the journalists get to ask a follow-up. It's like, all right, we'll scratch your back if you scratch ours. Like, fine, softball.
right.
All right, my next question, though.
Do you feel that this has been unfair to this against your team? Well, what is he supposed to say? No, actually, I think Manchester United, all of these goals have been correctly awarded, and I commend all the video referees for their hard work.
Look, Lampard's always going to put it into an open net. So I'm not surprised that he decided to go ahead and
Fair
take
play,
that
Dan.
question for all it was.
Oh, yeah. Sometimes he'll, go for a hopeful shot from range and hope for a deflection.
So yeah, continuing the kind of the Antonio Conte, references here. Lampard totally embracing it. 1v1 his press in the opening minute made it difficult for United. We saw them struggle against the press against Southampton. So again, that was just another tactical change that we did against United. And again, when I just talk about them being disinterested, they would like swing it across the back line, not have an option. They would just kind of lob it, and it didn't go anywhere. And obviously, Danny James isn't going to win anything. Rashford's not really going to win anything. So it was just easy for our three center backs to eat it up and recycle it back down. So I thought that was also a good, or like an obvious change that they had done. Lampard even talking about it, he said that from the Chelsea FC Twitter handle, said that the team worked very hard in the last 2 days on countering Man United running in behind, and also on getting players into midfield to make tackles. And that's really exactly what we saw.